When most people think about the United States Constitution, they immediately remember the big three: Article 1, Article 2, and Article 3. Congress. The President. The Supreme Court. The branches everyone talks about. But today, I want to draw your attention to something far less discussed, yet absolutely critical to the survival of the nation: Article 4. Because without Article 4, the United States might not function as a single country at all. To understand why, we have to step back to 1787. At that time, America was operating under the Articles of Confederation, a system so weak it barely held the country together. There was no president to enforce laws. No national judiciary to resolve disputes. Congress couldn't properly tax. It couldn't regulate commerce. States imposed tariffs on each other like foreign nations. They refused to honor court decisions from neighboring states. Some even operated with separate currencies. The young nation was drowning in debt, economic instability, and political division. It wasn't unity, it was fragmentation. The Constitution was drafted to fix this crisis. It created a stronger federal government, but the framers were cautious. They had just fought a revolution against centralized power. So they faced a delicate challenge. How do you strengthen the nation without crushing the states? Article 4 is the answer. Article 4 is the Constitution's rulebook for how states must treat one another, and how the federal government fits into that relationship. It is the glue that holds the Union together. Section 1, the Full Faith and Credit Clause, requires states to respect each other's laws, court rulings, and official records. If you're legally married in one state, you're married in another. If a court enters a judgment against you, you can't escape it by crossing state lines. This prevents chaos. Section 2, the Privileges and Immunities Clause, protects citizens when they travel. A state cannot treat you as a legal outsider simply because you're from somewhere else. Your fundamental rights travel with you. That's national unity in action. Section 3 gives Congress the authority to admit new states and manage federal territories. Every state added since the original 13 entered the Union through this constitutional gateway. Expansion wasn't random. It was structured, lawful, and deliberate. And then there's Section 4 with a guarantee clause. The federal government must ensure that every state maintains a republican form of government. Not a monarchy. Not a dictatorship. A republic. It must also protect states from invasion and, when requested, domestic unrest. That's a constitutional promise of stability. Together, these provisions form the backbone of American federalism, a system where power is divided, not concentrated. The federal government handles national matters, foreign affairs, interstate commerce, national defense, currency. These are enumerated powers specifically granted by the Constitution. Everything else? Reserved to the states. Education. Local policing. Property law. Public safety. This principle is reinforced in the 10th Amendment. Some powers are shared. Like taxation. These are called concurrent powers. Both levels of government operate side by side. This division is intentional. It prevents any single authority from becoming all-powerful. It distributes control. It creates tension, but productive tension. And that tension is a safeguard for liberty. So Article 4 is not some forgotten technical provision buried in constitutional text. It is the structural bridge between the states. It is the framework that transforms 50 separate governments into one functioning union. It is the legal architecture of cooperation, unity, and balance. Without Article 4, federalism collapses. Without federalism, liberty is at risk. And that is why Article 4 matters more than most people realize.